there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest, episode 40. Today we'll be going over Devstream 58 and its relevant topics. Real quickly, the whole entire Excalibur Umbra debacle, this and that. Yes, I had to snap. All we know is it's coming to global. This is something that they've reiterated over and over and over and over. It's gonna be their prime equivalent, just like we all figured, or most of us figured, and it will be coming to global. This might be the start of an Umbra series of weapons, but it is coming to global. It's just something incentivizing for the Chinese servers and so yada yada yada. But yeah, Umbra, it's coming global. Yeah. There's not really much to be saying there. And hello! Awkward. Anyway, they talked about a bunch of different things today in this Devstream, or Friday on this Devstream, because right now it's Saturday, and this is going to be a little late. I'm jibber. And I'm being weird, am I? Yeah, I'm not really weird. Okay. And, not gonna lie, this Devstream actually blew me away a little. A couple of interesting details. I always say that, but I'm very honest. Every single time they come out with something interesting, a lot of interesting concept was shown off. We know a lot of details of the upcoming features, some very ambitious designs, and it gives you a general idea of what Warframe is going to do in the next coming months, and the next coming updates and things and such. So, what did they talk about? Well, they talked about the idea of right now playing with the concept of multi-strike, multi-hit, melee attacks, like a multi-shot for melee swings, where one swing is two swings. It's under consideration, it is something that they've thought about, and it's something that might be a game changer and can balance out melee a lot more. Currently, a lot of players can do melee-only runs, but this might make it more viable for lower-end players that don't necessarily understand the mechanics, or just reinforce those high-end players so they go even higher and higher into the end game and to the late game. They also talked about the orbiter compartment and possible expansions to it, but it was very vague. It was just a lot of ambitious, vague comments. What I did understand is the orbiter compartment will be completely changed, and it will be a larger segment to the whole entire ship. Currently, when you go down that ramp, that is the orbiter compartment. That is a separate ship. There is a lot more to that ship, we just don't know about it. It is something a lot of players already figured out, myself included. You can notice the docking ring and everything, and it's going to be changed completely. They are thinking about ways to expand it and make it a lot more of a player home, and just more cozy, and just set up a bigger foundation to the game and to the mechanics in the future. What else did they talk about? They talked about the idea of weapon utility slots for, let's say, reload speed, magazine capacity, total ammo count, and things like that. It is under consideration. It will be played and thought about and investigated, and it sounds very nifty. If the Warframes have it and the swords kind of have it in a stance, why not guns? It's a very interesting idea, and I'd like to see that. And then we have the Capros. The Capros actually have an official name, and their name is Kavats. Yes, the Kubros are the dogs, Kavats are the cats. They kind of say cat, Kavats. But yeah, anyway. And they reiterated on the concept art, and they explained how the Kavats will actually be integrated into the game. As we can see here, if I can get my words right, they showed off the Feral Kavat again. This is the concept art, the same one from before, but they kind of iterated on how these things will be played into the game. The Feral versions will be found in infested areas where infested spawns, and right now they are currently in a work-in-progress state where they're considering that these Kavats will spawn and eat infested flesh. They will spawn around infested areas, they will eat dead infested flesh, just kind of like the tumors and the molds off the walls, but these Kavats will be hard to spot because they will be invisible. You will have to go around with your codex scanners and actually scan these kitties while they're invisible, and scanning them isn't a good thing. You'll provoke them and you'll upset them and they will attack you. And this will be how we actually breed these. We scan them, get DNA sequences in, and then we can use those DNA sequences to breed our own. And speaking of our own, we're not the only ones that get them. The Grineer also will get a modified version, which kind of looks like a Persian Sphinx, a very hairless cat. The Grineer version will be an anti-infested specialized unit, and they will have a Kavat handler. We've seen this concept art before. The Kavat handler has a very interesting mechanic, just like the Kubro, just like the Drakmaster, the Kubro Drak, which is the Grineer version of the Kubros. The Drakmaster has a boomerang that can steal 10 weapons. The Kavat handler has a cloaking detector. It will have to keep track of its cats that are cloaked. So how do you do that? by seeing them while they're invisible, resulting in invisible Warframes losing their invisibility. So all those Ashe and Loki players and anyone that has the arcane trickery on outside Warframes, yeah, you won't be invisible much longer if a Kavats Hunter's there, and it will pretty much screw you over, which is a very good anti-invisibility mechanic that's finally being implemented into the game. And back to the Tenno version. Scan in the DNA, inject them into Kubro eggs, breed your Kavats. It's as simple as that. So, not really much else to be said there. They also talked about Kayla the Thum, or Kayla the Thumb. She will be coming after Golem. Golem is 17.5, but she's still in queue after the other bosses before her, which my understanding is Nef and Def Anyo, and I believe there might be one else in the queue between that. They also talked about changing the Corpus. The Corpus have been not getting the best end of the war tides, as in they have not had many new units come out. Only the Bursas have been the most recent iteration. And what do they have to say for it? Well, the female Corpus unit is coming well in... The female Corpus specialized unit is coming well into the pipeline. They are well in progress. They have a lot of variances between helmets, bodies, and legs, which are going to be different ways of transportations when it comes to legs. Currently, they are messing with the idea that there are about 700 unit variations, and 32 of those variations are gameplay dependent. They will be male and female, and they will have 4 different weapons that they can use. So this will be a massive multiplier to the Corpus, and you'll see a lot more variety in them overall, considering that the Corpus are just mainly found in snow, and they have the same palette, unlike the Grineer that have forest special units, desert special units, underwater special units, and their generic special units. So we're going to see that same treatment, but with a massive variety in RNG for the Corpus male and female variances, and that's going to be very overwhelming and interesting for the Corpus. Talk about variances and things like that. They are thinking about changing parrying to make it a little bit more skill-based. It is a very cool and interesting idea, but sadly this won't be done anytime soon until they look at melee again later down the line. So it's something that they will play with. And talking about later down the line, they have shown off the pre-Corpus Valkyrie. Look at this. It is a low-detailed model. It isn't very overwhelming, but it is still heavily in the works. This is expected to come out some point in 17, along with a Valkyrie update. Valkyrie will be getting a drastic updating and quality of life improvements, not as drastic as Excalibur's, those were overwhelming, but Valkyrie will be getting a buffening in the days to come. For example, faster rip line, that's the only example they gave us. So this is very interesting. So Valkyrie will be the 3rd Warframe to be getting this alternative skin alongside Nyx and Excalibur. And talking about alternative skins, they also showed off concept art for the next 3 alternative skins. 2 of these skins have been community made. Tell me if you can figure out which one of these are community made. First off, we have the Rhino alt skin. My first thought is what? This first skin is just overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. As a Rhino player, this looks massively different from what Rhino is. Rhino is a very smooth design, and this is just jagged. It is currently being referred to as the Temple Guardian. This Temple Guardian Rhino will come with its own accessory set to accompany him, and it is the next one in the pipeline after Valkyrie. Followed by another skin that is Siren. Siren is getting an alternative skin as well. This looks very interesting. It has lotus flowers. It's very beautiful to her design. And last but not least, we have Trinity. Trinity is getting an alt skin, and wow, this looks very drastic. And if you can figure out which one of these have been community made, then congrats on you. If you already know, no cheating. That's cheating. Shame on you. And talking about cheating, I don't know if this correlates. Oh, whatever. They are talking about, well, it is a cheating little answer because of the back and forth. They talked about mixing and matching game modes where a mission can be part rescue, part spy, or part exterminate, part spy, or mixing and matching them to give them more variety and more depth. And here was a cheating answer. Scott looked at Steve and was like, oh, when is Star Chart 3.0 with the next Star Chart overhaul coming out? So they are planning to make them correlate with one another, so no idea when that's coming. They also messed around with the idea of Typhus. It's a very popular concept. And something that stuck out to me, which rang a very loud bell. I need to go talk to Red Skittles about this, if it rang his bell as well. but it was this line here.
I think that's the typhus concept. It's a fan concept that's been upvoted many. Well, it's very popular in the forums, and there's a lot of great discussions about it. The power ideas are really interesting. We have kind of a lot in the queue, so it's not something being worked on right away.
And with that line there, it pretty much gave us an idea of the next upcoming Warframe. There are 4 concepts from my understanding, but this is the first one that's coming out right now in the pipeline. And it is a very old concept that they've messed with, which is the Brawler frame. Currently he has no head, I don't know why, maybe that's designed like that. But it is the Brawler frame. It's going to be a punching style Warframe where it's going to be all about close quarter combats, melee, and kind of like a monk, that's the way I see it, a Shaolin or something. And it looks very interesting. The punching Warframe kind of makes me think of Rhino Charge a lot, but we'll see. Like, we don't know. It's very vague. It can go either way. And talking about going either way, they talked about Update 18. Update 18 will be introducing a new faction, and along with the new faction, they will be introducing a new tile set. What is that tile set? Well, if you remember a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, or a couple dev streams ago, it was a while ago, they talked about the moon, Earth's moon. Earth's moon is going to be an Orokin colony, an abandoned colony that will be taking place with the next quest, which is the Second Dream. The Second Dream will be the first among future expansions of being a very cinematic and story-driven quest. This will be setting the lore for Warframe. It will be heavily lore-driven. It will set the universe and tell the players what is going on, what is the general direction of the game, and this just makes it very ambitious, very hype-worthy. And I don't know, like if it's anything like the last Natha quest, it is gonna grasp all my attentions, like if I can even word things and others. And aside from that, what else did they talk about? They talked about the mobile app. It's well in development. They made a small GIF, a GIF, a GIF, and they showed off what it works and how it's looking. This is a demo version, and it looks quite promising. And it's still no ETA. It's heavily work in progress. It's coming along very nicely, and that's about it. And last but not least, we have a couple last things, very interesting things. Next Syndicate lores, quests, primary weapons, what's coming on with the Syndicates, what's gonna be expanded into the Syndicates, and all we know is that Syndicates are getting primary weapons, and the first 3 primary weapons that we can see is a new Loca Tigris, which is this lovely double barrel shotgun. It looks very interesting. Granted, stats are gonna be higher than the base version, which is always nice. Parent Sequence Penta. I don't know why I said Quanta, but that looks like a Penta to me, so I could be wrong, because I'd never committed 2 years into Warframe. Clearly that's a Quanta, but it's a Penta. And the Red Veil Cernos, which is the impact bow, and that bow looks dashing. And aside from that, they also talked about ships. This was very weird, it's very vague, and they talked about future expansions and upgrades to the Lisette. Most likely we'll have different Lisettes we can pick from, so it's not the same generic ship for every player, and every single Lisette type will accommodate different player needs and different styles, which is very ambitious. You can see another image here, which is another work in progress. Again, very vague, and they did talk about this being a potential reinforcement system that a player can call in to help you once per mission. So they'll have different ideas of like bombing airstrikes or something like that that the Lisette can do. It's different examples of support, and it's very ambitious and interesting because the Lisettes have always just been our home away from home, and seeing them actually have some other purpose in missions is very interesting to me. And I don't know, like this is very weird, and I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Is this a good thing? I don't know. Voice crack. Anyway, and last but not least, they showed off the next little companion we're gonna get, a new Sentinel. The little Sentinel does not have a name as far as I can say. This has been on Design Council for the last few weeks, and it is a Grenier Art Trap buddy. It's a small little art trap designed little companion Sentinel that will fly around above your shoulder and just shoot giant lightning beams of electricity. Is lightning anything else but electricity? I don't know. In this game, it can be anything. But yeah, a little buddy that shoots electricity, and I don't know, that's about it. Just shock everything that gets too close. And that pretty much does it for Devstream. Well, that pretty much does it for Devstream 58, and this is pretty much it for Digest 40. Oh no, words, I never finished this correctly. So, tell me what you guys think about all these things. What are you excited about? What has your attention? Thanks for sticking to the very end, and words and such not. I always mess these up. So, take it easy, guys, and take it easy. I'm repeating myself. Take it easy, have fun, and see you guys in game.